So, I have one question for you tonight. Are you a writer? I'm defining writing for this presentation as a comprehensive effort which begins with an idea and ends with publishing. Writing is powerful. Just think about it. The Almighty God Himself decided to express and communicate His way of salvation through writing. I'm a writer. These are some of the books that I've written. This is my series. I call it Godsend. It's all about God calling a group of young people to become warriors in His battle to save humanity. They're a lot of fun. But I also write articles. This is an article that was recently published in the Bible Advocate magazine. And the fun thing about being a writer is you're part of the conversation. Thousands of people read articles every day in magazines, and so now I have a voice. But this is my favorite thing I ever wrote. This is my beautiful wife, Debbie. She is a hospice nurse here in the high desert, and I wrote this article about her for the Pulse newspaper, and she really is the hand of God to her patients. So who is this guy, this smiling guy? This is Alan Watt. He's one of the country's most foremost foremost writing coaches. And we had him recently at our writing club, and I asked him, Al, should everybody write? And he said, absolutely not. Not everybody's a writer. So how did I become a writer? Well, I was writing letters to my mom who lived in Oklahoma and telling her all the silly things my kids did, and she said, you should be a writer. And so I came up with a message that I wanted to communicate, and this is it. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And all of my books are all about this. Ordinary people changing the world through their choices. So what does it take to become a writer? Number one, you've got to be a lifelong learner. This is a picture of our living room. This is one wall in my living room, one of the many different libraries in my house. I know you're feeling bad for my wife right now. A writer has to be curious. I was a teacher here in Hesperia for 30 years, taught in the Hesperia Unified School District. And this is me with some of my kids. That is not a lightsaber. That is a fluorescent tube, and I'm holding a Tesla coil lighting it up. Writing requires humility. You have to be willing to put yourself aside and really listen to other people and really understand the human condition and what makes them tick. Writing takes motivation. Writers write because they're writers, not because they want to get rich. Only 2% of all writers are able to make a living at writing. They write because they are writers. This is one of the most famous writers in the country, Dean Koontz, and he was our speaker recently at our writing club here in the high desert. And he was telling us what he does to write. He writes one page, and then he goes back over it 30 times before he goes to the next page. Writing requires emotion, feeling. When I'm writing, I feel the emotions of my characters. And then some magic happens, and the emotions that I feel go into the text, and then the reader that reads it feels those same emotions. It also takes imagination. This is actually a scene in one of my Godsend books. And what happens is, as I'm writing, I see the scene in front of me like it's on a screen, a movie screen, and I imagine it over and over again until I've got it, and then I sit down and write it. Writing takes resilience. You have to be in it for the long haul. To write a book may take months, may take years, and you have to believe in what you're saying. You have to believe in your message, and you have to want to get it across. It also takes community. These are just some of the members of our High Desert Writers Club, and they help me to be a better writer. There are over 100 members in our club at this time, and we need each other. We found that writing is a field. It requires a lot of different skills, and when you're in a community, you interact with each other, and there's a synergy that helps you to go forward and become the best writer that you can possibly be. Writing is also rewriting. Nobody writes the best writing in their very first draft. You have to write it, rewrite it, edit it. It goes through a long process. This is a picture of my son, Jeremy, who really is the mastermind behind the God Sent series. I started this presentation with a question: are you a writer? And the only way to know whether you're a writer or not is to start writing. If you are a writer, you will never stop. Thank you.